All right, so in this project, we're going to be putting a composite image together where we've got this image with the sky and the foreground image, which are two separate images, and I'll show you here in the project bin what they look like. It's actually this view here, this nice blue Santorini view. It's got a lot of blues and nice sky. We're going to replace the sky with this sunset image, and then we're going to have to change the tone of the image so it matches the sky as well. So we're going to use several tools here, the magic wand tool to remove the sky from the Santorini view, and then we're going to add the background of our sunset. And then lastly, we're going to go into the layers panel, and we're going to make it so that way the hue or the serene blueness of everything we see here is going to become orange, so we get that orange glow of the sun setting. So we're going to end up with this image here like I showed you earlier, so it gives us a nice neat composite. Okay, so we'll start with the Santorini view, which is this image, and we've got our background layer here is locked because it is the only layer that came in. To unlock it, I can hold the Alt key and double click, and it'll give it a new name. It'll call it layer 0. It's a quick tip to do that. You can double click the background and it'll bring up a dialog box, in which point you can type in a name and then click OK. So the Alt double click is just a shortcut for that. So that's the first thing. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because if I remove some selected areas with the background layer locked, it's going to bring me the foreground and background color. It's actually going to bring in the background color, and that's going to be a problem. So this way it's going to make it invisible, right? Now, with the magic wand tool selected, I can come through here and just select whatever region I want, and it will automatically choose the colors. Now, the reason why I'm using the magic wand tool is because the magic wand tool will select colors of high contrast, and you can see here this blue is a high contrast to the horizon that I have for the mountains and the hills and the tree, the house, the rooftops. There we go. That's what I meant to say. All right, so I'm going to click anywhere in the sky. Now, it's not going to select the entire sky background because the colors are variegating, means they're changing as they get darker here and they get lighter here. So I'm going to come over here to the control panel and make sure that I have my add to selection selected. It looks like two sheets of paper, one on top of the other. With that selected, I can click anywhere else in the background here of the sky, and it should add it to what I already have selected. So I'm just continuing to click until all of that horizon line and everything is selected. Now I'm going to hit the delete key on the keyboard, and the sky goes away. All right, so we're going to deselect the marching ants. We're going to get rid of those by going to select and saying deselect. And now I'm going to bring in the image of the sunset. So I'm going to click over here on the image of the sunset, and I'm going to grab the move tool right here with the compass arrows, and I'm going to move that up. Now this is an interesting behavior that new people tend to find a little difficult. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go up to Santorini view and drag it up to the tab. Now I'm going to hold onto the tab and hold onto the left mouse button. I'm just going to hover over the tab. It'll automatically bring up the Santorini view image, in which case I will continue to hold the mouse button down and drag it down onto the image. So here we're going to make a copy. So that's basically what we're doing. We're dragging a copy of the image onto a new image. And you can see the box here. I'm just dragging it down. I haven't let go of the left mouse button yet, and I'm going to release. Now I've got to copy this image inside of the image with the Santorini view. And luckily enough, Photoshop knows well enough to go in and create a new layer, which it did here in the Layers panel. And the only thing I need to do is notice that the image here is a smaller size, so I need to fix this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize it. So I can go up to hold the Control or Command T key down, and I can resize from here. But there we go. I'm going to resize it some more here so it fits. There we go. And I'm going to do it the other direction now as well. And I'm actually going to stretch. Well, I guess it could stretch down. Okay. So now I've got the sun here. It is going to give me what I want for an effect. And it's going to look like the sun is setting over Santorini. But it doesn't look that way just yet. What's happening is the image here is on top of my Santorini view. So what I need to do is go into the Layers panel and drag Layer 1, which is the sunset layer, and I can move that down below my Santorini view. I'm just going to drag that until I see a line there, and I'm going to release. So now I've got the sun setting on Santorini. But here's the situation. I have the nice blue sky on the original image, so I'm getting a nice blue cast over the entire image, and you can see here the reflection of the blue sky in this background. And I need to change that. I need to make it look orange because the the sunset is orange, and I want to give an orange cast to everything. So I'm going to add an adjustment layer here to do that, and that's this circle that's half black, half white. So what I'm going to do first is I don't want to affect this area here with this new adjustment layer. So instead I just want to make sure that I have this area selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the magic wand tool again, and I'm going to click in this area up here at the top to select it. I hope I can edit this later. All right. And then I'm going to select the inverse, so that way I can have just the hills with the houses and everything on it. And so now the marching ants are around the hills and the houses. And I'm going to add a new adjustment layer. And I'm going to add a solid color. Now to start, the color doesn't matter. What matters is that I go here to the Layers panel, and with the color fill layer selected, I choose the blend mode for overlay. And what that's going to do is going to blend the color white with the original image. Now again, the color doesn't matter because I'm going to change that to an orange color. So to do that, I'm going to go to my Layers panel, the color fill layer. I'm going to double click this little thumbnail right here for the color. Double click it, and I'll get the color picker. In the color picker, I'm going to grab the hue slider, and you slide that up until I see some oranges. And then in the color picker section here, where I've got my brightness and contrast, darkness, and my hue, saturate and desaturate, I'm going to select a nice dark orange here. Maybe that's a little too dark. But try to get as orange as possible with the image to match it up. So I'm getting some nice color there. As a matter of fact, I could probably sample it. There we go. And I'm going to click OK. But now I'm getting this little effect here that I don't like in this blue area. I actually want to bring some of that blue back. So what I'm going to do is come over here to the opacity setting and notch that down to about 75%. And you can see the blues returning in the water, so it looks natural again. So maybe I want to go a little bit lower, maybe 70. There we go, about 70% there. So now that really looks good. And so now my new image looks like my original image that I started out with to show you. And I'm swapping back and forth between the two. And it looks pretty good. And that's it. Now we've replaced a sky background from one image to another, and then we've created a cast here, orange cast on everything to make it look like it was the sunset or the sun setting. Okay, thank you for joining me, and look forward to working with all of you again.